Paralympic recording in progress for
Sorry, I am recording. Yep.
it's for like a Paralympic snowboard, or I guess like the Paralympic snowboard circuit. So pretty cool stuff. I'll be here until December 14th. So
then Ramaya, then Megan, do you want to say who you are, what you're in school, where you're at locationally right now, and how you feel about it, just so we can, try to beat Finland?
Okay. Well, I'm Ramaya, and I'm from Kimberly, Idaho, actually. I go to College of Southern Idaho over here. My major is liberal arts, but I'm taking like a lot of health science classes to try and figure out, because I'm technically undetermined right now. So yeah, it's pretty nice outside. So Idaho's pretty cool.
Are you close to Burley, Idaho?
Yeah, for the most part.
Yeah, so cool. We've all been there. Well, I don't know if Megan's been there, but Thomas and I have been there.
We love Burley, Idaho.
We love Burley, Idaho. It's so good.
Yeah, what do you like about Burley, Idaho?
It's quaint. It has a couple fun restaurants, and it has Shoshone Falls, so that's cool.
Yeah,
I know that's different, but yeah. All right, Megan.
I go to Boise State, so I'm in Idaho right now. I'm in Boise. I'm a sophomore. I'm doing criminal justice major. It's really cold right now. I just got back from Southern California, and it was like above 75 the whole time I was home. So now I'm like freezing, but okay.
Oh, yeah, that'd be fun. Here, let's all share our temperatures real quick. So our temperature is probably 40 degrees right now.
I have no idea.
10 degrees here in Helsinki, Finland.
Mine says it's 36 degrees. Sorry.
Okay, nice.
30.
Oh, okay. So Boise is colder. All right, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, this training could be 2 hours. It could not be, because there are less of us here. There's 3 of us, which is pretty good. But my name is Chasen. I went to Utah State University for my undergrad, and now I'm in my 3rd year on staff at the University of Utah. And I'm qualified for this training because I fundraise every year. No, but I fundraise for my job, but I also had to fundraise to go on a mission trip when I went to Kenya. So I'm going to share our screen real quick. And can you guys see this PowerPoint? Okay. Yeah. Awesome. I feel like a professor. How cool is that? So I'm calling this GP partnering training. A lot of times when we think about fundraising, we have this idea of just like asking people for money and hoping they give, but it's actually partnering. As of right now, you guys are on the mission trip. You guys are learning to rely on people, to ask God to provide. And I think a lot of people get worried in this phase because asking people to partner with you financially and prayerfully is awkward and difficult and cringy and scary. And you look at that big number and you're like, how is that going to happen? And a phrase that I've repeated to myself about this week is, if we can't learn to be dependent on God's providence and provision through his people in the United States, how are we going to learn to be dependent on God's providence and provision in a whole nother country? So essentially, your mission trip starts right now. This is your mission team. Thomas, Ramaya, Megan, like, you guys are friends together. And I'll send you a picture later of the other mission training that we're going to be doing this Sunday and the next Sunday in Arizona and in Utah. So this is your team. You have started the mission trip. Once you filled out the application, through willingness and your faithfulness, God is going to reward that. So congratulations for starting your mission trip. Yay. So amazing. So here is what we're going to talk about. Oh, hey, here's me on my mission trip. So I loved it. This was my Kenya family. I stayed with a family in Turkana, Kenya, or Lodwar, Kenya. They're the Turkana people. That was my bishop right there. Here is my friend Henry to the left here. He's the only other white person in here. And I was talking to him yesterday. He's actually going to be a dad soon, so that's crazy. But I was talking to him yesterday and I showed him this photo. He's like, dude, we were so young. Like, that was so crazy. But that's like, Henry and I are best friends. He lives in Bozeman, Montana. I was in his wedding. Like, this mission trip was amazing. But it all started with partnering and asking people to partner with us. And here's actually one of my, in the top left is one of my letters that I sent to people to thank them for giving to me. So in Kenya, you can't have long hair as a Christian. That is seen as like a more like liberal way of being Christian. So I had to cut my hair and I had to shave my mustache. So that is what I did right there. But that's how I thanked people, and it was amazing. And in this training today, we're going to do 5 things. We're going to spend about 30 minutes giving a biblical understanding of fundraising, why it is okay to fundraise and to partner with people financially and prayerfully. We're going to create not 1, but 2 letters that you could send out to people. We're going to game plan how to pursue raising funds and partnering this month, and then the months to come, January, February, March, April, and May. We're going to go through questions, and there'll be time to ask questions throughout. And then we'll go over final details, just like 5 takeaways you should do from this meeting, and a blessing. Make sense? Thumbs up is good. Let's do thumbs up if that makes sense. Great, cool. Okay, part 1, a biblical basis for fundraising. Oh, before we start, can I just pray that we have soft hearts? Can I pray for us real quick? King Jesus, thank you for Megan, Ramaya, and Thomas. Thank you for carving out this time in Finland, various parts of Idaho, and in Utah, so we can come together virtually to worship you, to learn about your will for how to partner and rely on you through your people. In your name we pray. Amen. Okay, so let's just share, how do we feel about fundraising or partnering? Megan, do you want to go first?
Yeah. I have had experience doing it. I had in high school I went on like a mission trip to China, and I feel like
okay.
it was a lot different because like I sent out the letters and I was like a little bit worried, but then like you realize like the most unexpected people will like give money or like text you and be like, I'm praying for you. So I feel like you shouldn't like write anyone off. That was my experience. So I was like, oh, I don't know, like if I should send a letter to them, or like I don't know if they're like Christian and like believe in like doing mission trips, stuff like that. But even those, like they're like, I'm glad, like they're so excited to like, oh my gosh, you're like helping and stuff like that. So it's
great.
kind of, yeah.
That's awesome. Thomas?
Yeah, I guess I feel like the people that I would ask are like people I haven't really talked to in a long time, because they'd be people from back home. And so that definitely feels weird, because I'd probably reach out to a lot of people that I used to go to church with, even though I like haven't seen them in a while. So that definitely feels weird. I feel like I don't have a lot of people in Utah that I could ask. But I mean, it's not a huge problem, I guess. But like I guess the people that I'm closest to are like college students, so I probably wouldn't be asking a lot of them for money. So
yeah. So maybe some awkwardness of like, there's people back home I haven't seen in a while, but I don't really know a lot of people here besides Brook college students. So that's kind of weird. Okay.
Exactly.
Awesome. Ramaya?
I don't have much experience in fundraising stuff, but I guess I am kind of lucky compared to Thomas, because I live in a small community and we like know each other really well, and like even though we have like different beliefs or different opinions, they're all really supportive, especially with where I live. So I think that'll be really helpful. For the most part.
Awesome. Well, that's great. And I'll go into a little bit of my partnering story later, but just to give you guys a framework, I became a Christian 2 months after I turned 18 years old. I did not have a Christian community. And then I went on a mission trip 2 years later, and I was looking at my fundraising list. I had less than 60 people on my list and I would say 70% of them were not Christian. And I was still able to go to Kenya. So just to give some hope, to give some support. But let's jump into the passages. So since we're online, I need to figure out a healthy way of making you guys not be bored. So you have 3 passages here. I'm going to let you guys read these on your own. Matthew 7, Acts 4, Philippians 4. And you guys just share out loud what you notice. And then Ramaya, could you type in the chat like what people are noticing? So yeah, you guys just talk amongst each other like what you're noticing in each of these passages about partnering, about raising financial and prayerful partners to go with you on your trip. Does that make sense?
Do
Okay,
you want it?
great.
Do you want it on the chat on here or on like, I don't know if we have that document. Sorry.
Let's do the chat on here. Yep, if you could type it in the chat on here, that would be awesome.
Do you want all of us to just type our own like observation?
Oh yeah, that could be good. And then just share amongst yourselves out loud. Yeah,
I just feel bad for Ramaya to have to type everybody's answers up.
No, but then it keeps it. She's a pretty good typer, Thomas. So you know.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, so let's just read and share out loud what we're noticing, and then Ramaya will type it, or we can type it in if we want. But I'm just trying to keep us all active on a Zoom meeting that can be long.
So I guess in the Matthew 7, like we see that you have to ask to receive, and seek, you will find. So like there's action has to be taken to receive stuff.
I feel like in Acts, like the people were trusting God, like with everything, like they were selling everything and like they were just going at his feet and like knowing that he will provide.
Yeah. And Ramaya, if you notice something, I'll type it in for you to give you a typing break.
Okay, sweet.
So yeah, Ramaya, you take a turn to notice something. Here, I'll type stuff up. How about you guys say stuff out loud and I'll type stuff up? I'm going to move us past the Matthew passage so we can see the Acts and Philippians passage more. Right. Do you guys feel like you've read the passages well-ish? Okay, let's answer these two questions. What do you learn about fundraising or partnering from these passages? And what do you learn about asking God and relying on him? So those two questions in mind, and just feel free to share out loud. What do we learn from these passages?
When it asks like what do you learn about asking God or relying on him, I think like if you ask, he will provide for you, but he will provide what you need and not what you like want, I guess. So like he'll provide like the maximum for what you actually need.
Yeah. Good. Great.
I think in like the Acts passage, we see that like fundraising happens, like they bring all the money to the apostles, but then it's like given back to who needs it. And so I think that in some way our fundraising should reflect that.
Yeah. No, and I like what you said in the theme of Megan's, right? Like it distributes money to who needs it. You know, people give money because they don't need it. You know, it helps them get rid of stuff they don't need. I think that's interesting that partnering can sometimes help people be generous. You know, Ramaya, anything you're noticing? Oh, we can't hear you.
Okay.
We can hear you.
In the sorry, I don't know what's going on. Okay. In the last passage in Philippians, it talks about or at least especially in the beginning, it says to be content with whatever the circumstances. So maybe it's like talking about, or I feel like in the view of fundraising is just to be okay with what you are given, because like they were saying above, that God will give you what you need, not what you want. And so if you don't get like the outcome you were expecting, just to be okay with it and just know that God provided whatever you needed.
Yeah. Let's zoom in more on the Philippians passage. What else do you guys notice in that about specifically partnering? And let's share about that, because I feel like we have the theme of the Matthew and the Acts passage, but I really like the Philippians passage. What stands out there?
I think that like, one of the most famous verses in the world is in this passage, Philippians 4:13. And I think that it is like important though to look at like that verse, and like especially like Philippians 4:12, and see like that Paul is relying first on God for his for his needs, and then later he like goes into like who helps him. And so I think it's like Paul's heart posture, like going into his mission is like, I go to God first because he gives me what I need.
Right. Good. Megan, Ramaya, what else do you notice?
I like the second to the last verse where it says, and my God will meet all your needs according to the riches of his glory in Jesus Christ. Like the faith you have, like God will meet your needs if you have faith in him and stuff.
Yeah, and God meets people's needs through their giving, right? Through them giving something away, he meets a need that they couldn't fulfill before, right? That's good. Ramaya?
I don't know. I pretty much got what they had. I really liked how he talked about in all things Christ who gives me strength, we can do all things.
Oh, that's good. That's good. Just some lines that I want to highlight for you all here. Indeed, you were concerned, but you had no opportunity to show it. There's people out there that are concerned about your spiritual life, your calling, and other places in the world, and they can't show it, right? Not everybody is a young, strapping college student who can go to another country, but they want to support people who can. They want to show that they have concern for God's mission in the world. And you are providing them an opportunity to be a global missionary through partnering with them, right? Then he goes, and I know what it is to be in need, to be content. Moreover, as you Philippians know, not one church shared with me the matter of giving and receiving, except only you. For even when I was in Thessalonica, you sent me aid more than once when I was in need. Not that I desire gifts, I receive full payment and have more enough, but he desires more to be credited to their accounts. He knows that through their giving, they are following Jesus. He's giving them an opportunity to rely on Jesus as well. So Paul is creating a global missionary. Paul is creating Christians who are relying on God more than finances. And then finally, he even says they're fragrant offering, an acceptable sacrifice, and my God will meet all your needs according to the riches of his glory in Christ. He's saying this is a form of worship. So whenever you're partnering with people, you are creating people who are going on the mission trip with you through their financial or prayerful partnering. You are creating people who rely on God more than their finances. And you're actually having Christians and non-Christians alike worship God. That's all what's happening in partnering here. So it's not just asking people for money and a transactional thing. So with all this being said, Thomas, then Ramaya, then Megan, could you just share about maybe how you see fundraising / partnering now?
Yeah, I mean, I guess I definitely have like I would say like a good perspective on fundraising. Like I don't really see it as like stealing people's money or anything.
Good.
Like I um and I think that that's because like I do, I guess like as far as like asking like other Christians for money, I definitely don't see it that way. But asking like non-Christians, I feel like I have a little bit of hesitancy there, just with I don't know, like having to tell them like what it is exactly I'm going to do. I don't know
Yeah.
exactly why.
Yeah. Ramaya, how has your thoughts kind of changed, or where are you stuck?
Well, I feel like it changed quite a bit, and I feel like kind of relieved because I know we are supposed to get like, I don't know, they said something about a list of 100 people. And I was like really like immediately I started like checking off lists of people that wouldn't give to me. I'm like, oh, these people don't believe, so I'm not gonna send anything to them, or I haven't kept up with these people, so I'm not gonna send stuff to them. But especially after what like Megan was talking about when she went on her mission trip to China, what she was talking about how to not count anyone out, and then reading the passages about how God will provide what we need and everything really just provides like more of an answer for me than what I began with.
Awesome.
I think like reminding me like not to worry, because I feel like we get caught up in like the numbers and like worrying about like if we're gonna meet the mark and stuff. Just like knowing that like if it's his will, like it will be done, it will be provided.
Yeah, good. And once again, have this idea that your mission trip is starting now. So expect there to be some spiritual warfare. Expect there to be doubts and worries that you can focus on instead of the faithfulness of God, right? That happens because the mission trip is starting now. And the main takeaways I want you guys to get from this is that financially and prayerfully partnering with others helps us to rely on God and others before the mission trip. And partnering with others is part of the mission trip. I remember when I was fundraising for Kenya, I had a small list. It was really intimidating. But I had a landlord who was not a Christian invite me over to dinner every month. And she invited me over to dinner, and she had a non-Christian son who was like 35 years old. He's an atheist. And my landlord said, "Hey, Jason, you just did a debate on God's existence. My son, Jason, is an atheist. You guys should, debate right now." And I'm like, what the heck? Like, this is just like a dinner conversation. So we argue for like an hour, and it's like so bad. And I'm just like, oh, I'm never going to be invited over again. It was like so horrible. But then a month later, I saw that Jason, who I had argued with, had donated $300 into my Kenya account. And I was just like, I called my landlord. I'm like, what happened? Like, I thought he hated me. He's like, no, like he's been doing this thing called financial peace. And he saw your letter going to Kenya. And he's like, well, I might as well give to that. Because like Dave Ramsey told me to put away some money. So I had like an ardent atheist give me $300 just because he saw my letter. And I'm like, what the heck? So that provided an opportunity for a non-Christian to worship God. And then I had an old football coach's wife who was like the only Christian on my football team. She was like a Pentecostal Christian. And I sent her a letter that I was going to Kenya. I hadn't talked to her in like 5 years, but she didn't have any money. So she did a tamale fundraiser to raise money for my mission trip to Kenya. She's just like, I just want to do this. I just want to love you this way. Like, I want to extend out into my network. And I think she raised me like $500 to $600 for my mission trip. And I didn't have to do anything except send her a letter. But it was an opportunity for her to vision cast to her community what God is doing in the world and through a college student. And then finally, I come from a non-Christian background. My parents were not stoked about my fundraising. And I, in fact, made a goal to fundraise all my money without my parents' help. And I did. My parents did not have to give any money to my mission trip. And I think that like showed them Jesus in a way that was really interesting, that I could rely on God and rely on my limited network, and God still moved. So through the process of fundraising, like I just felt like there was like another mission trip happening in my community. And it was amazing and wonderful and beautiful. So just to give you guys some hope, this is part of the mission trip. It's amazing. And I think you're going to see God move in your heart and through your community if you are faithful to him through this process. Some quick points. Ask non-Christians, like I did with Jason. Ask people you think you would never ask, like I did with Stephanie, my old football coach's wife. And then ask people to ask their networks. Does that make sense? Like if you feel like you have a limited network, other people have networks, and you could say, could you pass my letter along to your prayer group? Could you ask people in your family that are excited about global missions? Because old people love global missions. It doesn't even matter if they're Christian. I asked my neighbors who were like 60 years old and have never gone to church, and they just were pumped that I was going to Kenya. And then push over your fundraising limit. You will be helping other people. If you fundraise more than $4,700, you will be helping other people who have more limited networks than you, who did not grow up in a Christian backdrop or family. So you could be helping other people on the trip as well. Any questions on the biblical basis of fundraising? That was a lot. You feel good? Awesome. Okay. Well, the next section is going to be more practical work. So I want to give you guys a break early. So would you guys all take like a 5-minute break? And some things I need you to do. I need you to pull up Basecamp. Ramaya and Megan, have you opened the Basecamp yet?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So open the Basecamp, and then let me share a screen with you. Okay, open Basecamp, go to Bosnia 2022, and then go to Docs and Files. We're going to start on this page right here, but I will see you guys at let's do 9:36. So a 3-minute break just to stretch out. Is that okay with you guys?
Yeah.
Cool. Awesome. Or you guys can just talk to each other. Okay, guys, I actually took that break because my sibling was supposed to bring me coffee cake at this time, but that did not happen. So
Dang.
I bet
Cole,
they
Cole
slept
did you
in.
dirty. He let you down.
I know, dude. I'm so bummed. It's okay though. Yeah, he made a lot last night, and he's like, "Do you want to come and get some?" I'm like, "I'm not walking up there." So, okay. Part 2, writing letters to send to people. Easier than you think, I promise. We will all have a letter written today. How many of you guys have ever wrote a letter? No, I'm just kidding. I don't care. Yeah, I'm sure you've written a letter of some kind. Okay, so I want you to write 2 letters, and we're going to look at my letters. What do you notice about my letters below? Who was I writing each letter to, you think? All right, first letter. Oh, was that the second one? Oh my gosh, guys, I'm so sorry. I feel like I'm goofing. Okay. All right, first letter. What do you guys notice about it? What and just share out loud as it comes out to you, and I'll type it in the chat. We're manuscripting my letter. What observations do you have?
Supposed to be like specific, like a group of people, a certain group of people you're writing to.
Yeah.
So
Who's the group of people you think I'm writing to?
I think it's to like other Christians. Like there's lots of things in here that you say, like spread the gospel and see how God
Yep.
works. To other
Good.
Christians.
Yep. Other Christians. Yep. I say mission a lot. I say God, right? I mention my Christian activities. What else do you guys notice?
You explain like what you'll be doing on the mission.
Yep. Explain what I am doing. That's good. Yep. I can't just say I'm going to Kenya for 3 weeks, right? Explain what I'm doing. Good. Other observations? They're super easy. It's not like complicated Bible study. Oh, Ramaya, we still can't hear you.
You ask for fundraising and
Yep.
like humbly. You're not like, hey, can you give me like this amount of money or stuff like that.
Yeah, that is super important. Do you know what most people don't do in their letters? They don't ask. They should ask humbly. But what do I say? Would you consider giving financially to support me? Good.
Yeah.
Anything else?
You also like clearly state your need. So you like literally just raise $4,000.
Yep. Clearly state my need. Yep. I don't think that was actually, I think I had to raise $5,100. I don't know why I put $4,000. That's funny. Anything else?
You ask for prayer as well as like financial support.
Yes, good. Yes, I'm asking for financial support. I'm asking for prayer. Good. Awesome.
You thank them for taking the time to read the letter.
Good.
Which is
What else do you, yes. Yeah, because right, they could have thrown it away by now, right? They could have got one paragraph in and be like, oh, I'm done, right? Anything else?
You include photos.
Yes, good. Dude, people love photos. Kelly and I think, have some of the best monthly prayer letters, not because of anything God has done in our fellowship, but it's because we have photos of people doing stuff. People love that. Anything else? Look near the bottom. There's an important thing at the bottom that I want you all to notice. What do I promise I'll do?
You said that you'll like call them if they want to partner with you to give them more details.
Yeah, I'm gonna follow up with them, right? I'm essentially, when they get this letter, I'm allowing myself 3 to 5 to 7 days to be like, I'm gonna call you and tell you more about this trip. Does that make sense? So let's see what you guys notice. This letter was written to Christians. I explain what I'm doing. I ask humbly. I clearly state my need. I ask for prayer. Thank them for taking the time to read the letter. Photos, I'll follow up with them. Notice in this middle section here, after involving myself at Alpine Church, so I have a little bit of a testimony here, right? I have like this idea that, I've done this, and I feel like God is calling me to do this summer. Do you see this line here? While I could devote my summer to working, an internship, or more schooling, I know serving God is the best choice. That's important. It's important to state your calling in your letter to Christian audiences. Let's look at the second letter. Okay, what do you guys notice about this letter?
I feel like it's like more summarized. It's not as lengthy as the first one.
Yep, my personal testimony isn't in there. Yep, if you notice that, right? I jump into, while I could devote my summer to working and internship. Good.
It's like more Just on what you're gonna do over there, and like on it, like less focused on God, I would say, like less,
Yeah.
less.
Yeah. Or less spiritual language, I guess, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and Thomas, just to emphasize, look at the second line of the second paragraph. I will step out of my comfort zone, gain cross-cultural experience, and expand my view of the world, right? It's kind of like a little bit about me, because I know these people don't, maybe they don't love Jesus, but they do love me, right? They love me doing something. So I kind of make it about me a little bit. Anything else you all notice? Not that much different than the first letter, I suppose, right? Like I still ask, I still do all that. So great. Okay. Some sample tips for you guys. Write a simple, clear, straightforward letter. Focus on one main idea. Don't be flowery. This is not your point to explain missiological themes throughout the global world. Underline keywords or sentences, bolding an amount, bolding a calling. Keep sentences short. Write as naturally as you talk. Don't philosophize. Use a person's daily vocabulary. Ask for some type of action in every letter that you write. If you want recipients to pray, ask for prayer. If you want recipients to give financially, ask for financial support. Asking is the most overlooked step in writing all these letters. We're going to proofread each other's letters, or I'll proofread your letter and give suggestions. Format the letter neatly. So 4 paragraphs, 5 paragraphs, short, bigger font, right? And put it on high quality paper or just white paper. Avoid dark colors because they're hard to read. I mean, you guys are Gen Z, so you guys should know how to make something that is like clear, right, and legible. I'm not talking to like millennials or boomers. So letter content. Introduce yourself and a recent photo of yourself. I had really long and ugly hair, so that was my photo. State your acceptance on the GP. People will think that's cool. Like, I've been accepted to go on the Bosnia GP, and give a short project description. So for us, it will be going to Bosnia to build cross-cultural relationships on a college campus in Banja Luka through American cultural classes or English classes. I'm gonna add my photo to the base camp, or add mine and Kelly's letter to the base camp so you can see our description. Summarize how God has led you there and why you're going. So in the Christian letter, that's explaining like your story and testimony. But for a non-Christian letter, it's saying like, while I could devote my summer to doing this, I really think I would like to devote my time to loving people in a different country or in a world like that. Summarize how God has led you there. Oh, sometimes it helps to share your need in terms of number of people giving number of an amount. So like, I am looking for 50 partners to give $100, because that would be $5,000, right? Sometimes it helps to do that. There's different ways of asking. Share a total dollar figure. Tell them you'll follow up in the next couple of weeks. Then this I don't have for you yet. Include a link of how they can give. You guys will all receive a link in the next couple of weeks that you can put in your letters. Or you can make checks payable to InterVarsity Christian Fellowship, or IVCF, which we'll get into more later. Does that make sense on how to write a letter in some manner or form? Okay.
Sounds good.
Great. I am going to give you guys 15 to 20 minutes to write your letters and put them in Basecamp. So if you go, okay, so look at examples on Basecamp, write your letter. You can copy and paste paragraphs directly if you want. Make 2 letters and put them in here. So you go to Bosnia 2022, you go to Docs and Files, Other student letters, Ramaya and Megan, you guys are right here, and other student letters. Thomas, you are in U of U and Westminster letters. So I'll go to Thomas real quick. You'll see that Thomas has no letters. I'm going to put letters in mine and Kelly's today. But so yeah, put your letters right here. If you are looking for more examples, go to InterVarsity staff sample letters. If you're looking for logos to put on your letter of InterVarsity, you can go to this logos thing right here. But does that make sense? Awesome. Okay, I'm gonna walk away for about 5 to 10 minutes so I can tell Kelly that I need the letters. But feel free to ask me questions as you're writing letters, okay? All right, cool. You can mute your screen, whatever you feel comfortable with in the next 20 minutes. So write some letters. As you guys are working on letters, feel free to ask me whatever you want, by the way.
What'd you say?
As you guys are typing your letters, just feel free to ask me any questions you have. I'm going to be uploading mine now. So,
Oh, okay.
Do you have like a description of what we will exactly be doing?
yep, I'm going to upload that in a sec and I'll give it
Okay.
to you, Megan. Yep. All right, I'm gonna share the screen where you can see a short description of what we're doing. So if you go to Bosnia 2022, docs and files, U of U and Westminster letters, Chasen and Kelly. You can see we have 3 letters, 2021 Bosnia letter N, not Christian, 2021 Bosnia letter C, Christian. Then this is our recap letter that we're just sending to a lot of people. But if you go to the not Christian one, Megan, then, oh, sorry, Youthful says. And I'll just keep this open too. If you go to right here, global programs are summer trips for intervarsity students that give them the opportunity to learn and serve a culture that is different from their own. On this trip, we, along with these students, will step out of our comfort zone, gain cross-cultural experience, and expand our view of the world. During this time, we'll be teaching English and American culture classes on campus, as well as working to build community alongside the full-time staff there. So that's kind of the gist right there. Make sense?
Yeah, thank you.
Great, and I'm just gonna keep this letter open actually for you all to see. And you can see that we make our ask right here, our 2 ways to give right here. Thank you so much for, so yeah, I'll zoom out of this letter too so you can see it a bit more. But yeah, this is our non-Christian letter. And if you guys want to see anything else, just let me know. All right. So I'm going to give you guys 10 more minutes to work on your letters. And by the end of those 10 minutes, could you try to have one or both of them uploaded just so I can see them in Basecamp? And you can keep working on them. You can upload them as a Google Drive doc, but I just want to see that they're there and present so I can give you feedback on them later. Make sense? Feel good? Great, cool. So have your stuff turned in the next 9 minutes, 9 to 10 minutes. Even if it's just a rough draft. And let me know if you want anything else pulled up. All right, how are we doing on letters? Do we need more time?
Yes, please.
Okay, Megan, you want more time?
Yeah, a little bit.
Okay.
I'm almost done.
Okay, I mainly just want to see a draft of all of yours, and then you can continue working on it. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna give you guys. I'll give you guys 5 to 10 more minutes. So
I have a draft. I have a draft in mind. So
it's just uploading. Okay. Awesome. Is it pretty simple to upload to Basecamp?
yeah.
Okay, awesome. Okay, I'll give you guys 4 more minutes just because we do need to move on to other stuff. And no pressure if you don't have it. I just want to give you feedback if I can today. Megan, can you make your letter shareable to anyone who has the link?
Yeah. Well, I think I gave permission.
Great, good job. Thomas, can you change the sharing settings on your document so everyone can view it if they have the link? And Megan, I commented on yours. I know you're still writing it, so I can comment on yours later too when it's done. And make sure to label your letter as like Bosnia 2021, like Christian or non-Christian or something like that. I assume that letter's towards Christians.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, cool.
Okay, I think you should be able to access it now. Just check for me.
Okay, awesome. Well, upload those letters. Even if it's at the end of this, I will give feedback on them once I see them in the folders. And if you could post both of your letters when you have time this week, or I would say at least before you go to winter break, have your letters ready in some kind of matter. So, but Ramaya, we are going to move on to another part because I don't want to keep you guys too long.
Yeah, I'm just trying to upload mine right now.
Perfect. Perfect. Right. So now, so just to kind of rehearse, we're moving from really big picture, biblical basis of partnering / fundraising, writing a letter, and now we're going to go into like making a game plan. So we're going from really big to really specific. And now we're going to get more specific. So part 3A, making a plan. What do we need? Like, what do we physically need to start sending these letters? Any thoughts?
Get some stamps.
Some stamps. Great. Cool. Anything else?
People to send them to.
People to send them to. Great. Yep. Megan?
Just said like names and addresses.
Yep. Names and addresses. Great. That is perfect. And we're going to get into that in part 3B. So we have a vision. We got a letter to send to people. We'll need to figure out when we're going to get stamps, when we're going to start these things. So we need stamps, letters, phone numbers, addresses, emails. Sending a letter like this is one of the best ways to partner. So is meeting face-to-face. So here's what we're going to do. We need to figure out what we need, when we're going to do it. So we're going to make a mini game plan. So if you have a little note section on your computer, or if you have like a little document, however you organize your life, I want you to make a mini game plan, and we're all going to share our mini game plan. So if you can send out any letter this month, do it before Christmas. Some people might want to give in 2019 and put it on their tax deductible records. So if you can send out a letter, an email, a Facebook message of your letter, or have a sit down conversation, make a phone call, talk to your parents, schedule a church meeting with your letter in it, please do it. Get addresses, stamps, send out letters, and start telling people over the holidays. So I know this is really fast, more specific. So 3 minutes, what things do you think you can do this winter break? And just write down 2 goals or type them in the chat. Yeah, type your 2 goals in the chat, like 2 or 3 goals you can do in the chat. What things can you do over winter break? Reach out to my church back home while I am there. Perfect. Great. Get addresses and contacts from parents. Yes. Super good goal. Your parents should have a lot. That's where I get most of my addresses from, or my wedding list. So, hey, also, if you guys have romantic prospects, partnering with people is a good way to get addresses for weddings. So just the heads up, this will actually help you in your romantic future if you decide to pursue that path. Megan, get addresses. Good. Ramaya? Send letters. Good. Yeah. How many letters, Thomas? Do you have a goal? Finish letters, send them to local family members and groups. Perfect, cool. Finish letters, get addresses, send letters, and possibly start having conversations with more intimate family members. Now we need what's called a large game plan. So you have January, February, March, and April to send these letters, and probably the last part of December, but you're probably with your families doing some stuff. You can get a jump on this, but I did not start my fundraising until January when I was a student. So there's a couple different ways of approaching this. Do you want to send 5 to 10 letters a week and then follow up on those letters every week? Or do you want to send like 20 to 30 letters a month and then follow up on all those letters that whole month? Does that make sense? So one plan is 5 to 10 letters a week for 3 months. One thing that I did is I sent 50 letters and then I sent another 50 letters. And then I just took those 4 months to follow up on those 100 letters. So you don't have to establish this now, but Ramaya, Megan, and Thomas, could you come up with like a reasonable 4-month goal? What do you think is reasonable for you as a student? Is it 5 to 10 letters a week, or is it more 30 letters a month, then following up those next 4 months on those letters? And then just type that in the chat. $30 letters a month. Yeah, it's good. Yeah, because hopefully what you have by there, Megan, is you have addresses, stamps, and letters. Thomas said at least 12. Oh, in winter break. Okay, 30 letters a month. Good. $25 letters a month, 8 to 10 letters a week. Good. These are just good goals. And I'll tell you, once you have these letters out, it's easy to follow up because we have this system. Ready? Part 3B, making a list. This gets really spicy and exciting. If you are a J on the Myers-Briggs or you really like spreadsheets, this is gonna rev your engine, okay? Look, this was so I did this, sophomore Chasen did this, okay? He had this list that said work, family, and there's less than 60 people on this list. And let's see if there's any Christian on this list. Tom Jones, Douglas Johnson. On this list, the only Christians on this list. I was so intimidated. So in this spreadsheet, you see I had a letter type for each of them. Christian. I didn't know Tom Jones was a Christian, actually. He was a Christian, so it's kind of funny. He still supports me. Method of contact, am I gonna send them a letter? And am I gonna call them? Face-to-face, address, I'll get more into this. But if you go to, in the base camp, there will be a document that I show you that looks like this. This is your GP partnering list. You have relationship, you have rank, which I'll explain, name, address, email, phone, pledge. Sorry. What I want to focus on in this session is I want to focus on name, rank, and possibly pledge. So we are going to brainstorm people. We're going to rank them. And what I mean by that is not like this person's better than this person, but it's more like how close you are in relationship. So for example, are you going to send all your letters out to somebody you haven't talked to in 10 years? Or are you going to send letters out to people that you talk to more frequently or have a more close spiritual relationship with you, right? You're going to have to steward your time wisely. And then pledge is, if you could come up with a number, what would you expect that they could give? And they might give more or less than that. So, but that will just determine their rank. Does that make sense? I know, it's kind of confusing. So let's go to If you go to Basecamp again, oh my gosh, sorry. Oh, is it still screen sharing? Go to Basecamp, sign in, sorry. Bosnia 2022. Then go to Docs and Files, click on GP Partnering List Template. View on Google. I think all of you should have access. Let me check real quick. Sorry. Can you guys open that document? Can you see that?
Yeah.
Okay, so you can open it. Great.
Mhm.
Okay, you're on here. Go to File, Make a Copy. Go to File, Make a Copy, and then title it like Megan GP Partnering List Template, Ramaya GP Partnering List Template, Thomas GP Partnering List Template, and put that in your folders when we're done with this. Then will each of you just respond to a chat once you have the copy made? Copy has been made, done, great. Made, great, cool. So we can start filling this out, but we are running low on time. So I'm gonna move us forward. I think a big question people have is, what if I don't know anybody? Who do I not know? And like I told you guys earlier, I recently became a Christian when I came to college. I didn't have any church community. I had less than 100 people on my list, and 60% of my list was not Christian, but I had a lot of family members who are semi-spiritual. But I kept brainstorming and I kept pushing into God. So we're going to take the next 7 to 10 minutes to do a brainstorm, and I just want you to type in as many names as you can in the name category. Make sense? Thumbs up. So we're going to just blow through all of these real quick. So I'm just going to read them out loud. You just type in as many names as you can, and I'll keep moving us down. Okay. Family members and relatives, go. Family, friends, go. I know it's fast. It's supposed to be fast, so don't worry if you can't get all the names down. Friends, families that you are close to. And what I mean by that is, this is a bad story, actually. I broke up with this girl on Christmas, but I knew her parents were Christians. So I asked her parents to support me on my mission trip, and they did. I asked my ex-girlfriend's parents to support me. So if you have friends that you're close to, and your friends have probably told their families about you, you can ask their friends' families. So Megan, you could ask Brooke's parents if you wanted to. That is totally acceptable. Thomas, you could ask Lauren's parents. Don't know how that's going to go over. Or you could ask Jackson's parents. Ramaya, I don't know your friends, but you could ask their parents. Seriously, they are down to clown, I promise you. Okay, friends outside of campus that did not go to college, but they have jobs. church pastors and mission pastors. I don't know if you know if your church has a mission pastor, maybe it just has one pastor, but church pastors, pastors that love you or have got to know you, or former youth leaders, something like that. Church members. InterVarsity alum from your school, maybe more or less applicable dependent on your school. Current/former employees and work colleagues. So I asked my boss, who is not a Christian, he's LDS, but he gave me like 100, 150 bucks for my mission trip. Bomb. Current and former neighbors or past neighbors. Yeah.
I'm gonna ask our neighbors. I'm gonna knock on
it. Totally ask our fraternity neighbors. Yeah, ask Pike and Sigep. Dude, yeah, maybe if we do a philanthropy week, right? We could do a philanthropy week.
Sure, yeah.
Give. That's a good idea, actually.
Ask them to give it.
Those who have influenced you spiritually. And then finally, special networks, extracurricular clubs. Great. That is some brainstorming. I'm going to upload this presentation so you can see it. So don't worry if you can't get all the brainstorming done. I'll upload the slides. Okay. Now, this is something we're going to spend a couple more minutes on, but not a lot because I need you to work on other stuff. If you have Facebook, Instagram, or if you just scroll through any emails you've sent, or just simply the contacts in your phone, this is one of the best ways I found to brainstorm. Just pulling out your phone, pulling out your social medias, and looking at people you're like, oh, they might give, oh, they might be interested in this. A social media blast is not recommended. It usually does not work, very sparingly. So pull out your phones, pull out your social media lists, and just go for it for like the next 2 minutes or so. Look at contacts, look at anybody on your Instagram, people you follow, people who follow you, or Facebook. I don't even know if you guys use that, but it's a great way to brainstorm, honestly. I always go back to my phone and social media when I am looking for people to support me or to partner with me. All right, 1 more minute on that. right, I'm gonna move us on. Could you upload your spreadsheet to your letters folder and make it shareable so I can see it? This will just help me and your staff keep you accountable for fundraising and help you further brainstorm. And I can comment on it and try to get more ideas. And then once you have that uploaded, will you please message the chat saying that you've done that?
Where do you want us to upload it?
In the same folder you put your letters.
Okay.
Yep.
Thanks.
Yep. Thanks, Ramaya, for asking. Awesome. Good job. Good job. Great. So just so I can go over this spreadsheet a little bit more, this GP partnering spreadsheet, you have relationship, rank, like should you do it this winter break? Can it wait this month? Can it be done in February or March? Name, address, email, phone, pledge, how much you think they could give, type of letter, Christian or non-Christian, method of contact. Would they respond best to email? Would they respond best to over the phone? Or is it worth it to meet with them face-to-face? Meeting with people face-to-face is usually the most successful way to ask them to support you. It's awesome and exhilarating, but maybe you're really far away from people and a phone call is best. But then there is these categories right here: first contact, letter sent, second contact. What I did when I was fundraising for Kenya is I would call somebody, because I usually didn't have their address. I would call and say, hey, Jordan, I'm going on a mission trip to Bosnia. I would love to send you a letter with more information. Could I get your address? So then it primed them to expect to get a letter. And then I'd put whatever date in, I sent them that letter. I would send the letter that week. And then after 5 to 7 days, I would call them again to follow up on the letter and say, hey, do you have any questions? What stood out in that letter to you? And I would kind of share my heart for the mission and why I want to go. And then I would ask them in the phone call. And then would usually send them a link or ask them to fill out a check to InterVarsity Christian Fellowship. Then I would record how much they gave and any notes on the meeting. And then I'd send them a thank you letter right before my mission trip. Does that make sense on this spreadsheet here? I know this is my method of organization, so if you don't like this, you're free to edit your spreadsheet, but I found it most successful to call, send a letter, and then to call again or meet with them face-to-face to follow up. Or it could be meeting with them in church, sending them a letter, following up with them after a church service. Make sense? Awesome, great. So I know that is a lot, but we're going to do one more thing before we go into questions. If you are finding that your network is small or you don't think there's a lot of room in it, you can ask people to help you expand your network. So you could ask your parents to ask their small group. You could ask your small group, or you could ask your pastor if there's like a missions board you could connect with. You could ask people to host a fundraising party for you. I know some parents do that. Or another example is Stephanie hosted a tamale fundraiser for me. And that is how she raised her money that she wanted to support me with. Then finally, you could ask your friend who has gone on mission trips in the past if they could connect you with their church that likes to support local missions. But there's just a couple different ways of pursuing this. That was a lot. So any questions overall on anything we talked about? Do you want to come say hi to these people? Is that what you want? This is Mac.
What's up, peeps?
Okay.
Hey, I'm excited to go to Bosnia with
Here,
you.
do you want to be in the screenshot? Here, Mac, let's do a quick screenshot. Here, can we do a screenshot of this online fundraising?
Let's do it.
Yeah, everybody smile. Okay, cool. Okay, any questions overall?
I was gonna ask a question, but then Mac walked in and distracted me.
Yep.
No, I guess
When-
like about. Oh no, go ahead, Ramaya.
Oh, okay, sorry. When are we gonna get the link to put in like the letters for?
I expect in the next week or so. Yep, in the next week or 2 weeks. But I would have it before you go to winter break.
And would that be sent like on our email, or would it be posted in the base camp, or?
I do not know. I think both ways could be fine. I would expect it in an email or on the base camp. But yeah.
Okay.
If anything, I have your phone number now, so we can communicate that to you. So.
Okay.
So if I know there's a link to like give money to, but if people like say I'm back home and like I go to church or something and I'm talking to people about it and they like give me money right then, or like say my family members give me money, like how should I account that money?
Yeah. So a couple, and you're talking about cash specifically or a check?
Cash or checks?
So cash, you could either take that and donate it to your account through a non-tax deductible method, because you can't donate to your own cause, right? It's like cheating. Or you can use cash to pay for things that you can't fundraise for, such as sometimes you have to get shots, vaccines, a passport renewal, or other travel fees, right? Like snacks or a backpack that you'd want to take. Does that make sense? So I had one guy give me like $100 at church one day, and I used that to pay for like my hepatitis vaccine. I don't think we need that for Bosnia, but I did need it for Kenya. So cash, you can use it for stuff that you can't raise funds for. And then checks, Thomas, make sure they fill out the check to InterVarsity Christian Fellowship. And then in the memo line, put Thomas Wilson GP. Does that make sense? So yeah, do not have them fill out checks to you. Have them fill out checks to InterVarsity Christian Fellowship or IVCF, but in the memo put Thomas Wilson GP. And then just hold on to that check, because we'll address how to send those checks later.
So how do we communicate that that's how they need to address the check?
Put that in your letter. Say, say, fill out your check to IVCF or InterVarsity Christian Fellowship with Thomas Wilson GP in the memo line. Yep. Any other questions?
Are we only allowed to do like, or raise the funds in fundraising, or are we allowed to like put like our own money towards it too, or?
Yeah, Mac, are they only allowed to raise their own funds, or can they put their own money towards it as well?
They can put their own money.
They have to fill it out in a different way because it can't be tax deductible, right?
No, they don't.
Oh yeah, you can just put your own money in. Never mind. So Thomas, if people give you cash, you can just put that right into your account. So.
Oh, if they can put their own money in,
Oh.
people give them cash, they actually have to do a non-donation deposit.
You can put your own money in, but if people give you cash, you have to do a non-donation deposit,
And
which we could talk about if that happens.
I would also say that they could keep the cash.
Yeah, I said that.
And use it for like things on the trip.
Yeah.
Or for passport.
Yeah. Yep, you can do that, Ramaya. So, but I think fundraising will be good. So I'm just going to run through the basic common questions. Can I raise money for my shots, passports, and other personal expenses? No, that will be cash offerings. What if the deadline arrives and I still don't have money? That usually doesn't happen, to be honest. A lot of people, if they do the work, send out the letters, make the phone calls, do get this stuff done. Second, talk to your staff or the director, and they can help you find other avenues. But maybe some people want to give you money. Write down the pledge they're making and follow up with them, because all the money for your GP has to be accounted for by August 15th. But you should have money in your account before then. That's just if people can't follow up on their pledges before you go. What if I raise more than I'm supposed to? That's great. A lot of GP numbers don't account for inflation or unpaid expenses in the country. So students who drop out, their money will go to help us, or our money will go to help pay for their ticket that they canceled out on. So how should I handle cash or checks? We handle that. Can my donors give to me online with a credit card instead of writing a letter? Yes, your links will be set up and I will alert you when your links are set up. What if my plans change and I can't go? Let your director know immediately, Mac or Amy Smith. I encourage you to not listen to fears, but like if there's an unexpected family emergency this summer, let your director know immediately. When does my money need to be in by? I would say before the GP, that would be really good, but email Mac and Amy directly for that, because I don't have the answer on me. Good. Any other thoughts or questions? Great. We're going to go over final details. Final details. Just an overview. Financially and prayerfully partnering with others helps us to rely on God and others before the mission trip, which we will need to do on the actual mission trip. You're on the mission trip. Partnering with others is part of the mission trip. So congrats, you made it. You're on a mission trip. You just did mission trip training while on mission. Do your mini game plan over winter break, collect addresses, fill out that GP partnering sheet, fill out fill list. Wow, there's a typo in this. Thankfully, we're doing this training. Fill out fill list by January 1st. That's great. And then send letters by your first week of school. On top of this should also be turn in your vaccinations and passports to Mac and Amy ASAP. So you can screenshot this or just keep it in your mind and write it down. But I will be uploading these slides to Basecamp soon. So yeah, take a picture of it, whatever you need to do. Great. And I am just going to bless you now. God, thank you so much for Ramaya, Megan, and Thomas. May the peace of the Lord Christ go with you all, wherever he may send you. May he guide you through the wilderness of partnering. May he protect you through the storm. May he bring you home rejoicing at the wonders he has shown you. May he bring you home rejoicing once again into our doors. In the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit, I commission and bless you, Megan, Ramaya, and Thomas, for partnering, fundraising, and on a trip to Bosnia. In your name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Okay. Amen. Great team. Feel free to text me, email me, or ping me on Basecamp if you have any questions, but please continue to fill out your sheet and fill out your letters, and I'll be annoying you over winter break to do all those. So, okay.
Yeah.
Bye, team. Love you. You're amazing.
Yes.
Thank you.
Bye.
Yeah.